in honor of their loss yesterday, we're going to talk about a Detroit Lion.
Oh, what a joyful day to frolic and play.
Wrong button.
But actually, you downloaded all those cool
Oh yeah, I got all
sounds and stuff.
You
and-
let me know when you want to hear them.
Yeah, so if you can do the title of our episode today,
Are you ready?
and then yeah. So go ahead and go for it.
I like
All right,
you,
Bobby.
It's hard.
Let's see that in an instant replay.
Bobby Layne.
The curse? No.
6 a.m. and already the boy ain't right.
The Curse of Bobby Layne. Bobby Layne. Bobby Layne. Bobby Layne.
Whoa!
Bobby Layne.
Losers hanging out in the living room. Lovable losers telling stories and maybe drinking beers. Lovable losers.
So Bobby Layne, famous Detroit Lions quarterback of the 1950s, wanted to find. I was hoping they made the Super Bowl yesterday, so it would have been a little bit better of a story than not knowing whether or not they win the Super Bowl. But now they didn't even make the Super Bowl, and so the curse of Bobby Layne continues.
Stands.
Bobby Layne was born in 1926 in Santa Ana, Texas. But early in his life, when he was 8 years old, his dad died of a heart attack, and he moved in and was adopted by his aunt and uncle, Mimi and Wade Hampton. Highland Park is where he met lifelong best friend and another legendary football player, Doak Walker.
Doak.
Doak Walker.
How do you spell Doak?
Doak.
Oh, okay.
So Doak Walker is the namesake for the halfback of the year in college football. So they win the Doak Walker Award.
What? He's a trophy?
Yeah, Doak Walker, Bobby Layne's.
My dick fell off!
Oh shit. I'm still learning these. Damn it.
Why do you even have the "My Dick Fell Off" program in there?
I don't know.
What?
I did not.
We just accidentally push it.
It's my
over
first
and over.
day.
But yeah, Doak and Bobby went to high school at Highland Park.
Highland Park's very high end side of Dallas.
Bobby Layne was great football and baseball player, so he went to UT. He went to be a Longhorn in 1944 was his freshman year.
1944.
Yep, so he was right in the middle of the war.
That was 55 years before I went there.
Yep. Wow.
Just saying.
Just a few years before.
And 55 years and 6 months before I dropped out.
At football, he was all Southwest Conference 4 years in a row, all 4 years. He started as a freshman, which wasn't allowed actually by NCAA rules until 1972, but there were exceptions during wartime. 44. Well, that was World War II was going on at the time. So his freshman year, he's a freshman starter with UT. His sophomore year, he goes into the Merchant Marines for half of the season. So he doesn't even play the baseball season his sophomore year, and he misses a couple of games of the football season. So football, he's a All-American, second-team All-American his junior year, and a consensus first-team All-American his senior year.
I bet.
In between his junior and senior year, they installed a completely different offense. They got a brand new head coach. They changed from Dana Bible over to a guy named Blair Cherry in 1947. Cherry and Bobby Layne and both of their wives went to some NFL training camps to learn this offense. Senior year, he has a great year, and he is selected in the 1948 NFL Draft, pick number 3.
Ooh, by?
He was chosen by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh.
It was a pick originally owned by the Detroit Lions, which is the team he eventually ends up with and has great seasons with. The Steelers get the pick. Bobby Layne doesn't like the Steelers offense. He was not going to play for the Steelers. Yep.
He says no.
Yeah, he says no to the Steelers.
Hold on. I got one for that.
Yep. He's like, your offense is not what I want to do. He did not want to play for the Steelers. A team from the AAFC, the Baltimore Colts, offered him a salary of $77,000 a year, which is pretty high for that time.
Well, and nowadays, that would be $1 million.
$1 million annual
Almost
salary.
about 976,000.
Wow, for a rookie, that's crazy. He was actually lured away from his Colts offer by George Halas with the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears. So 1948, he goes and plays for the Chicago Bears, but the Chicago Bears have Sid Luckman as their starting quarterback, and Johnny Lujack is their second string quarterback.
They don't need him.
So Bobby Layne is sitting on the bench.
Boom.
And he's like, yeah, he does not like sitting on the bench, so he orchestrates himself a trade to the Green Bay Packers.
Can you do that?
Well, he tried to. George Halas said, no, you cannot do that. And George Halas instead trades him to the worst fucking team in the league, the New York Bulldogs.
Wait, that's a team?
It was. I think that was the last year of this team. But he traded him. Yeah, no, George Halas traded him over to the New York Bulldogs, and there was a clause in that trade that they couldn't trade him or sell him over to the Chicago Cardinals. So they couldn't trade him back over to the Bears crosstown
rival.
rival.
Anyone else.
Any other team is fine, but there was a clause like, don't go back to the Cardinals. You can't go back to the Cardinals. You know.
They were the Cardinals?
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals were the Chicago Cardinals.
If you use charcoal, I'm gonna kick your ass.
That's not getting cut.
You two take turns kicking each other's asses.
Oh, fuck!
Hey. I forgot to mention about his college career, his baseball part of his college career. He was a very good baseball player, too.
So he did both.
Yeah.
You said that a minute ago, but you...
Yeah, I kind of brushed over it, and I forgot to talk about it before going into the NFL stuff. But
to be good in both.
Yeah, at UT, his conference record, he never lost a game. He was 28-0, and he set a lot of records. He threw the first 2 no-hitters in UT history. And after his career, he went and played a season of minor league baseball for the Lubbock Hubbers.
Hub City.
Yep, Hub City.
Yes, that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why are they called Hub City?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's a good place to steal
Hey,
hubcaps.
hold on. You'll have plenty of time to post that right. Oh, that's why.
Okay. It is about the hubcap trade. All right. He could have been a professional baseball player, but he would have
NFL.
lingered in the minors for a few years and then made a professional career. In the NFL, he's straight in the NFL.
Do you think he made the right call?
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's a legendary NFL player. In baseball, he probably would have been an all-time great, but not like this. Yeah.
Legendary.
Bobby Layne.
Goes over to the Detroit Lions and busts out of the gate. He's the passing leader for his first 2 years, and he's the touchdown leader in 51 his second year. They don't make the playoffs either one of those first 2 years, but they do. They build themselves as a team. 1950, actually, Doak Walker, he came to the Lions in 1950.
Hey.
So he was a few years younger. So they reunited back in the Lions.
Okay, hold on. I got something for this.
Reunited and it feels so good.
So yeah, he's back with his best friend. They played in high school, and now they're playing again in the professionals.
Brady and Gronk.
It's so crazy. Yeah, it's so wild to have like a lifelong. And this is to the end too of a little bit of a spoiler alert. After we're gonna go to a commercial,
we are.
And then we're gonna talk about some.
Because I have a button for
great
that.
years.
Damn it, Bobby! Where's Mommy's bourbon?
Hey! Thanks for watching the show. And also thank you to this very real sponsor. Lovable Losers is brought to you by Hub City Hubcaps and hot dogs, etc., 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 etc. Come check out the Omega Ga hubcaps, and you better not forget about the yard dog. Hub City hubcaps, hot dogs, etc. Back to the show.
If you really count them up, there's like 28 or 29 socket Timmys. And then you're like, how often does she need? I mean, what period of time does she need that many socket Timmys? You know. Back to Bobby Layne. Sorry about that.
Oh.
So Bobby Layne, we're in Detroit. He's got 2 good years, great statistical years. But then 1952 is when they break through and they start competing for championships. 52, they're 9-3 on the season after starting 1-2. They lose to San Francisco 2 out of the first 3 weeks of the year. They lost to San Francisco the first week of the year, and then they beat LA, and then they lost to San Francisco again, and then they beat LA again. So they went 2-2 playing a West Coast swing to start 52.
Well, those are 2 different. That might be West Coast, but those are basically 2 different states.
Yeah.
San Francisco and LA.
So 52 after starting 2-2, they go on quite a bit of a run there.
Yeah. They got the juice.
Yep, they finished 9-3. Their only loss the rest of the season is to George Damn Hallis and the Bears. They kicked their butts halfway through the season.
Bears.
Yeah, the NFL, you play every team twice, so everyone gets 2 shots at you.
And the Bears suck always.
Yep. So in one of Bobby Layne's biggest targets was Cloyce Fox. Ooh. Yeah, so he had 15 touchdowns. Bobby Layne, helmed a high-flying offense. Their points for versus points against was 354 to 192. So they just blew people up all year.
Dang.
2,400 yards of total offense by Bobby Layne in 1952.
Bobby Layne.
And they get into the championship game by beating the Rams in the playoff game before the championship game. They beat them by 10.
At this time, this is 1950.
52.
52.
Yep.
And the Rams are
They're the LA Rams. They're the champion. They're the defending champions. They beat the Browns in 51, 24-17. So 52, they beat the Rams to make it to the World Championship game against the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns played in the championship game and won in 50, lost in 51, and then in 52, Lions and Bobby Layne won 17-7. In 1952, in the 1953, they matched back up with the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland is just football nation in the early 50s.
In the 50s, the Browns could have been far and away the best team. They went to the championship game 7 times. But in 53, our Detroit Lions were down 10-16 with about 4.5 minutes to go in the game.
Plenty of time.
Bobby Layne orchestrates this beautiful drive, ends in a 33-yard touchdown pass to Jim Dorn. Look at that. Just right down the middle, 33 yards. Yeah, so that touchdown pass gave them a 1-point lead, and they held on to it.
Wait, I got something for this.
Woo!
I did it
Back-to-back champions. They're third team to do that.
That's in 1953. This is 53.
53. They won 52 and 53. The other 2 teams to have accomplished that feat were the Bears in the 30s, I think, and then the
Bears.
Eagles did it in the 40s.
Billy from Philly.
Fly, Eagles, fly. In 1953, they won their second championship in a row. 54, they have another great season. They're 9-2-1. They make it to the championship game again.
Do they do it again?
They would be the first team in NFL history to have a three-peat.
You got to call it a three-peat. It's a three-peat.
They lost 56-10.
Who did they play?
It was the Browns. The Browns went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Super Bowls in a row. Pre-Super Bowl. This was the 5th of the 6th. They killed the Lions and then they killed the Rams the next year. So they were like, we're going to get some championships out of this damn decade already.
Hell yeah.
So they
paid for it.
So they stifled the 3 in a row attempt.
Damn it. The three-peat. Yeah. The thruple.
In a world where hippos run roughshod through the streets of London, Hippos in London 2, the last thing anyone would expect. Again, Hippos in London 2. This is sure to be a hit. Eponymous raves Robert Eager. Hippos, this time in London. Hippos in London 2 rated X for extremely graphic hippopotamus mauling. Hippos in London 2, in theaters this summer. Watch it or be damned.
So after going 2-1 and three NFL championship appearances in a row, they kind of struggle a little bit. 54, 55, they struggle. Doak retires after 55. He's like, I'm done. He only had a 6-year career, which is wild because it kind of mirrors what Barry Sanders did a few decades later. He walked away at the prime of his career, just like Doak Walker did.
Also a Detroit Lion.
Yep, Detroit Lions. Running backs walking away at the prime of their career. Billy Sams did it too in the 80s. So Doak was the first of 3 to famously do it.
Suffered for it.
But
that.
That's impossible! You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
That's what she said.
But yeah, there's been several instances of a running back having a very short career but still making the Hall of Fame. Like Gale Sayers did it, Jim Brown, Doak Walker, Barry Sanders. You know, a 6-year career is still enough. Yeah.
Said it at the same time.
Because it's 6 years of absolute dominance. You know? And
it's yardage.
Back then, that's all your body could take. You know,
it's all yardage.
Yeah,
Passing, running, catching, whatever.
And you know, he's had enough of a career that he's a freaking trophy. I just
Respectfully.
So the first post Doak Walker season, Bobby Layne has a really good season. He's a first team All-Pro. They're going into the last week of the year. They're 9-2, and the Bears are 9-1-1.
Ooh, who the fuck did they?
So the winner of this game goes to the playoffs, and the Bears knocked Bobby Layne out.
Like literally?
Knocked him out. Like knocked him unconscious on a running play. Yeah, they kissed him hard on the forehead. And he's out for the game, and they lose that game, and they narrowly missed the playoffs.
Let me ask
in
you
56 because of that.
If he had still been conscious, if that hit hadn't happened, could they have won?
Yeah, it was a really close game. Yeah, they lost by an unconscious quarterback. So after 1956, that's probably Bobby Layne's best year of his career.
56.
You know, first team All-Pro. 1957. It seems like the Lions are starting to tire of him. They get Tobin Rote, who's a veteran, as a backup quarterback, who's just ready to play if Bobby Layne just decides not to show up for a game, or ties one on a little too hard the night before or something.
That's really checking out.
There's stories about, they openly talk these stories, but I didn't really research them really in depthly, so I can't really talk too with too much knowledge on that. But he enjoyed himself.
Yeah. This is all checking out.
But in 1957, he also kind of he had a decent year, and he shared playing time with Tobin Rote. And late in the season, I think it was game 11 of 12, he breaks his leg in 3 places in a big pile-up collision.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, he just did it himself.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't like a non-contact, one of those really horrible ones, but it was a big pile-up, and probably just bent his leg. And crazy stuff happened in the piles in the 50s, and probably into the 80s. Crazy stuff happened in those piles.
Put your hands up, you lopsided bag of hay.
That one, it told the story.
Yeah,
that button did. It
That's
really
why
did.
I have it. I'm really good at programming these.
So after his broken leg, the Lions still have a really great year, and they go to the championship game that year with Tobin Rote.
Tobin.
The playoff game before the championship game was against the San Francisco 49ers, and the San Francisco 49ers had a 24-7 lead at halftime.
Okay.
The Lions yesterday had a 24-7 lead at halftime.
And lost it.
Yeah.
Did the 49ers lose it?
They
Tell me the 49ers.
lost.
A little
The
bit
Lions
of
came back and won
history
30-27. Yep.
The Curse of Bobby Layne.
In that championship game, they fucking crushed the Browns 59-14. And the Browns are like, and so now the Lions are like, you know what? We don't need Bobby Layne. And they trade him 2 games into the 1958 season.
Holy shit. Wait.
And so this is allegedly where the curse happened.
Oh, okay.
Was as he's packing his suitcase and walking out the damn door.
Reenactment.
He's like, oh,
I'm walking out the door.
God damn it.
I fucking hate
I
this.
gave 8 years of my goddamn life for
And
this
I gave her my
motherfucker.
kidney.
4 Pro Bowls, won you goddamn 3 championships.
I curse thee.
This goddamn franchise ain't gonna win for 50 years.
Kalamazoo.
But apparently, dude never said that.
Really?
Or if he did, he said it completely in jest to some buddies on the team.
But, okay, I'm going to go with the second thing you just said. And he said it exactly as we just said it.
I think there was a mic in the room.
Verbatim.
There had to have been a mic in the room.
You know, there was a couple of mics and a Tim.
The Curse of Bobby Layne.
Woo. So the story of the Curse of Bobby Layne didn't initially get reported until 2001, 15 years after he died. Yeah.
That's a great year for us, though.
Yeah, so it was just reported as kind of more of an urban legend, and it just kind of took off after that.
Huh.
Probably a lot like the
Goldblum dying.
The Bill Buckner curse.
Oh.
Where it
that one's not real either?
No, it took off and got
up.
a life of its own after his career, you know.
Do all curses start that way?
Probably, you know, it's like a little thing that just gets blown out of proportion over
Should
time.
we start a curse?
Yeah, we'll have to start a new curse. But I mean, the Lions lost yesterday, so they kind of continued it. But I don't know, they'll be back. I don't know.
I don't want to curse the Chiefs. I feel like that's sacrilegious.
No. But the trade that happens actually ties into our Jake Scott episode a little bit.
Oh.
The guy that he has traded for, he's traded for Earl Morrall and 2 picks. Earl Morrall was the guy that played in 1972. He was their quarterback.
What's his name?
Earl Morrall.
The glue?
Yeah. Earl's glue. That's probably a really hard name to pronounce in Baltimore, and that's
Oh my God. Earl
Morrall.
Morrall.
Earn.
Car park.
But so Bobby Layne went and had, you know, five seasons. He played with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was second team All Pro his first 2 years, and you know had probably just some decent seasons.
From first season to last season, what's his decades like? Because you know I like to measure the who you bring me in a story by how many decades they played.
Yeah, he played in the 40s, 50s, and the 60s.
So he's a tri-deck.
Yep. He played 15-year career. He set a bunch of records. So he had 2,400 yards rushing and 25 rushing touchdowns. But in terms of records set, he set the record for completions, 1,814, 3,700 attempts, 26,768 passing yards, NFL record, 196 touchdowns and 243 interceptions. So I think you might have been a little bit of a gunslinger, Brett Favre style, you know.
No, people caught on.
Maybe there was a lot of interceptions late in his career. Maybe
if you took the ratio at his first 2 years or his whole career,
possibly
it's way better at the first 2 years.
But all of those numbers
how he played.
were NFL records at the end of his career. So he was a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He was?
Yeah, Bobby Layne.
I just love that.
I know.
I'm always gonna ask.
Well, actually,
What?
I'd never mentioned
what?
it.
You didn't have to throw a brick at my face. Y'all did y'all catch that? Go back in slow mo.
I forgot to mention this. In the early 50s, his teammate was the other guy from episode 5.
What?
When I was like wall guy or cheer guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, and it was the other guy.
The other guy played with Bobby Layne on the Lions. His name was Pat Harder.
So either way, we would have ended up back at Bobby Layne.
Well, no, I wouldn't have done this episode if we had done a Pat Harder episode. because I already would have talked about Bobby Layne on that episode.
Fuck.
So the fact that you chose Jake Scott, then we get to do the Bobby Layne episode here. Yeah, it's like
Oh man. Okay, I think.
Huh?
What a coinky
I'm getting it.
Yep, that was a good one. But yeah, so
insane.
so 15-year career, great career for Bobby Layne. After his career was over, he came back to Texas and was a successful businessman. He went into business with Blair Cherry, his head coach at UT.
Okay, yeah.
And the last thing that he ever did in his life was he went up to Detroit to celebrate Doak Walker going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah?
Doak Walker was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1986.
He got it in 62?
Yeah, but Doak Walker had that 6-year career. You know, so it took him a little longer to get in.
Well, he had to campaign.
Yeah, and he probably had some other things that he did in the game where he coached after he retired. I didn't research Doak as much.
He needed a current member.
Yeah. But Bobby Layne flew up to Detroit, and he went there for a Ring of Honor celebration, Hall of Fame thing.
Bobby.
Oh, damn it, Bobby.
Oh, you gotta
But then, yeah, then he passed away like a month later.
The curse
of Bobby Layne?
Bobby Layne.
Maybe not. I guess it happened, you know, and actually 50 years after
they got so close.
No, they were 0-16. That season 50 years later after he said that, they went 0-16, and so that was kind of like, well, see, told you.
Every 50 years.
Yeah.
They're
they're going to be back next year. I bet you Dan Campbell will win a Super Bowl with this team.
I was wondering if you could Super Bowl my Super Bowl while I Super Bowl Super Bowl.
How dare you? Those bleeps cost money, man.
Lovable losers hanging out in the living room. Lovable losers telling stories and maybe drinking. These lovable losers.
My dick fell off.